is a demonstration on thumbnailing. You need to have a piece of paper, blank, not lined, and just some very sharp pencils. Now I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to be doing a layout. This is going to be my original layout that I'm going to be working with. I'll post a picture of this layout so you can see all the details involved, but definitely there is at least 10 elements here. I've got a headline, got a photo. This up here, perspective, this would be like a section heading. Here we have a caption. We have a drop initial right here, page number or a folio. Then we have the publication date, the publication name. These are all different design elements. Here we have, it says photo by Jeff Rogers. There's your photo credit. Each one of these elements are going to be represented on the thumbnail. First, what I want to do is just create a small shape that is proportional to the double page layout that I'm using. That represents between the two pages. So because I want to keep everything proportionate, first I'm going to put in the dominant elements. And this element here is the photo, and notice it bleeds here over the gutter or the inside margins. And it is proportionate to the publication itself. Probably what would be helpful for me is if I just kind of basically sketched an outline of this character who is the dominant element in there, so I know that there's a person. And I might even, this is one of the reasons why I use pencil, so I can erase this and you get an idea. Up here I have my section head. And then because the headline is so big, I'm probably just going to write it in. Doesn't take that much more time to write it in, and it gives me a pretty good idea of what it's going to be looking like. And over here I have the caption. It slightly overlaps. Just 2 lines to represent the 2 words, the 2 lines of type. I'm going to put in here a drop cap. And then down here, just a little tiny mark to represent the page number. I might even try to type in or write in a 16. There's your publication date. And because it's kind of bold, I'm going to go over it several times. There's your publication name. And now I've got 2 columns of type. This is good enough to give me the idea that this is justified type on both sides. Actually, I'm wrong. See, that's why I need this eraser. It's not justified on both sides. It is ragged right and justified only on the left. So I'll keep that open like that. And this basically represents, there's a little tiny line here for the photo credit. And this represents that layout. On the other side of the spread, I've got 2, 3 columns, and the first column wraps around the photo. Here I have a pull quote underneath a little picture, and then I have these subheads and then the text. So in all, I have at least 10 different elements, and I'm going to represent them here. I'm going to put in right dead center here at the top, at the right proportion, this little picture. In fact, that looks like it's a little too big. You might want to get an eraser that is not rotting on you. And that's real pretty good in here. And then here's going to be a pull quote. It's about that size. And I'm going to put a little quotation marks on it. Just tell me that that's what that is. And then I'll represent my runaround copy like this. And this is ragged right, so I'm going to mark it like that, and then I've got the middle column. And then the far right column. Now I could be a little neater, but the idea behind the thumbnails is to have a quick and dirty, very quick way of representing the layout. Now I'm going to have some subheads in here too. And then of course over here I also have publication name, publication date, and the folio. And so if you can see here that this layout should be represented fairly accurately with that thumbnail, keeping the right proportions. That's about how big it has to be. Now I'm going to show some variations on this. What I've done is I've created a representation of the actual existing publication, but that's like reverse engineering. Normally what you do is you draw a description of the page layout as you see it in your mind's eye, and then you create the layout from that. What I'm going to do here then is make some variations from this. I can easily get a half a dozen of these double page layouts, a dozen single page layouts on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. What I'm going to do is take all the existing elements that I have represented here and not just shuffle them around on the page, but try completely different layouts. What I might want to do is, hey, say just do a COB, cutout background, or a silhouette of this individual. And so, this might be one way of doing it. It's another kind of layout where he's, whoa, head going off. This is why we include in our degree program that you take a rendering and illustration class so that you can develop some sort of a skill on developing or creating basic sketches like this. Just a basic idea of somebody, just standing there with his arms folded. That's definitely going to be a dominant element, and that is different than the previous one, or the original one that I copied from. And so I might put my headline up here then. It's not as big of a headline, but it gets a lot of play because your eye comes into it there. And so I might have might be in the same place as that was before, but now it's closer to his name. So it's Davis Marksbury, President CEO, Extreme Software. And perspective, I might put perspective like this, up this way. Actually, because someone may not know, somebody like the design director or the client or whatever may not know what that is, I'll just kind of just put that in small where it says perspective so you know that that's the... In fact, I might put a little box on it like this and offset that more as a section head. That. And then I can put it, see, got to make sure I keep track of where the pages divide and not have things go over the page. I can have a photo credit come up here. I can still do, I guess I'm going to put the page number in here a little bit more. And maybe still keep that there. And so all my text is going to be somewhere else. Well, I might want to, I'll just put all my text over here. Now notice previously I lost this part of to the background that I've eliminated. So I can put more text in here, which means that the text that started here, I might have room for that. Okay, so I'm going to put a head up here. I'm going to put my drop cap, so you know where it's going. And actually, I might put the pull quote right over here. Okay, and then I'm just ending up with all this text, and I am being really, really sloppy here. just in a hurry to get through this. Need to be a little neater than that. And so I've done a few variations. I've just got a different idea here, a different layout, where I've not necessarily just rearranged things, but made some things bigger. And I eliminated this picture right here because I put it right close to him. So I've got his name, his title, and it's a pull quote, and pulls it right into the story. That's one idea. And you might want to say, well, maybe I want to start the text here. Maybe I could put a transparent box here, see through it, start the story here. That might be a third. You know, there's just lots of variations on this thing. You're only having to do 3 variations. And I'll do one more here. Let's see, what other ideas do I get? No, I told you that I might want to start. I might want to have the same picture like this. Wow, look how much bigger I made that picture. Well, that's going to take up some space for my text. But as you notice in here, there's lots of areas that I might be able to use to put text. I'm not saying it's the best idea, but I'm coming up with different ideas, and sometimes one idea leads to the next. So maybe what we'll do is we'll start out the text and have the text go around this guy. And pick up the interesting shape of the character and go around this side. And notice this is going to be aligned on the right side over here and ragged on the left. And we could put the headline over him like this. The part that's not so interesting. And maybe we'll keep the perspective up here. And maybe we might put his title right here. Davis, his title, and then there's his thing. And I'll just have 2 columns of text on this side. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll just have his little here, little photo in the middle, and have the text go around to give it a little more interesting shape around this. And so you're seeing I'm coming up with 3 different ideas, and I might be too extreme. It's kind of hard when all you have is a picture of an individual. Get rid of that light. When all you have is an individual, and there's not a lot of things you can do to crop that. Maybe I might want to pick up on the idea of this, straighten the picture out instead of having the picture crooked with the frame of the glass crooked. Might have them straight, play up on that, or maybe I want to play that up on. Here he's got, well, in the original picture, you've got the frames of the glass kind of going on an angle like this. Maybe I'll just do that. I'll cut the picture. Here's the frame of glass. I'm going to cut the picture like this. And so the picture is cropped so that, I'll show you this. Right now the picture is tilted, but let me crop it parallel to the picture. Instead of tilting the picture, crop it normally, and then tilt the picture, so to speak. So here's the picture of the guy with his arms folded, and it's all tilted, and you know what? I'm going to have the text tilted. Now, I got to make sure that all my elements in here will fit into this new layout design. So if I've created some problems, sometimes one solution creates another problem. And in this case, there could be a problem not having enough space left over. but it's definitely an interesting approach. And this is what you want to do with your thumbnails, is to create as many different ideas as possible so that the one that works best for you is the one ending up being created.